If you've ever thought, I'd love to share my stories online, but I don't even know where to begin, this video is your first gentle step. Maybe you have a story you want to save for your family. Maybe you have a few old photographs you'd like to organize. Or maybe you've recorded a short personal memory and are now wondering, where does all of this go? That's where Google Sites can help. In this video, I'm going to show you how to open Google Sites for the first time, start a blank website, give it a simple name, and understand what you are looking at. And here's the important part. You do not have to publish anything today. Today is not about building a perfect website. Today is simply about opening the door. Before we go to the computer, let's talk about why we're using Google Sites in the first place. For the Your Stories online course, we are not trying to build a complicated business website. We are not trying to become professional web designers. And we are certainly not trying to learn every feature on the screen. We are using Google Sites for one simple reason. It gives your stories a home. Think of it like a small digital memory shelf. On that shelf, you can place a written story, a photograph, a short video, and a note to your family or friends. That's all we need at the beginning. Your site might eventually include a welcome message, a short about this project section, one personal story, a few photographs, a video version of the story, a note to people you want to share it with. But today we are only doing the first step, creating the site. Before we begin, you only need a few things. First, you need a Google account. That might be a Gmail address, or it might be another email address connected to Google. Second, I recommend using a computer or laptop for this lesson. You may be able to do some things on a tablet or phone, but for beginners, a larger screen is much easier. Third, it helps to have one folder for your story materials. You might call it Your Stories Online. Inside that folder, you can eventually keep your drafts, photographs, videos, and finished project files. And fourth, you need one simple project name. It does not have to be clever. It can be something like Gordon's Family Stories, or My Life Stories, or Stories for My Grandchildren, or The Memories I Want to Share. Don't spend too long choosing the title. You can change things later. Now let's go to the computer. Open your web browser. This might be Chrome, Safari, Edge, or another browser you usually use. And in the address bar, type sites.google.com and then press enter. You may be asked to sign in using your Google account. A good habit is to use the same Google account every time you work on your story project. That way your documents, photos, websites are easier to find. One of the most common beginner frustrations is this: that people accidentally sign in with one Google account one day and a different Google account the next day, and they think that their site has disappeared. It probably has not disappeared. It may simply be under a different account. So before you start, check that you are signed in with the account that you want to use for this project. Once you are inside Google Sites, look for the option to create a new site. You might see a blank option, or a plus sign, or a template gallery. That's all right here. So you click on blank site. For this course, I recommend starting with a blank slate. Templates can be useful, but for beginners, they sometimes add extra sections, images, and formatting that can be confusing. So we'll keep this simple. Click blank or the plus sign to start a new site. Now Google Sites will open a new site, a new website project. At first, it may look a little empty. That's okay. Empty is good. Empty is meaning we are starting clean. This is where many people get nervous. They see a blank page and think, now what? But remember, a blank page is not a problem. It's just a starting place. The next part is important. In Google Sites, there are two names you need to understand. The first is the site file name, and the second is the site title. They sound familiar, but they are not exactly the same. The site file name is the name Google uses to save the project in your Google Drive. Think of it like the name of a document. The site title is the name visitors may see at the top of the website. For example, the file name might be Gordon Family Stories website, but the title at the top of the page might be simply Gordon's Family Stories. They can be the same name, but they don't have to be. In the upper area, look for the place where the file site name appears. Right now, this one says Untitled. Click there and type a clear name. For this example, I'll type Gordon Family Stories website. Could use My Life Story website or your Stories Online project. The goal is not to be fancy. The goal is to make it easier to find later. When you name things clearly, you reduce the confusion later. This is especially helpful when you are working with written stories, photos, videos, and website pages at the same time. A clear name is the simplest way to stay organized. Now, let's add the title people will see on the page. Click into the main area of the page and type something simple as My Life Story Project. The title can be changed later and virtually any time, so don't worry about making it perfect. For this first lesson, we are not adding photos, videos, or extra sections yet. We are simply creating a site and giving it a name. That may feel small, but it actually is a very important step. You now have in place where your stories can eventually live. Here's some good news. Google Sites saves your work automatically as you go. That means you don't need to look for a big save button every few seconds. But you do need to know how to find your site later. Your Google site is connected to your Google Drive, much like a Google Doc or a Google Sheet. So if you close your browser and come back later, you can usually find the site by going back to Google Sites or by looking in Google Drive. So close the site or return to your Google site home screen. You can just press the back button. There we are. You should see your site listed there. There it is. You can also open Google Drive and search for the name that you gave it. For example, I could search for Gordon Family Stories website. This is another reason for clear naming. Now let's pause for a very important reassurance moment. You do not have to publish today. You do not have to make this beautiful today. You do not have to share it with anyone today either. Today is just about opening the door. There's a big difference between creating a site and publishing a site. Creating a site means you are building it privately in your account. Publishing the site means you are making it available through a web link. We're not doing that yet. For today, the goal is only to create a blank site and give it a clear title. That's enough. Here's your simple assignment before the next video. Open Google Sites and create one blank site and give the site a clear file name such as My Life Story website. Then add a simple title at the top of the page such as My Family Stories. That's it. Don't worry about photos, don't worry about videos, don't worry about design. Just create the site, name it clearly, and make sure you can find it again. On another note, you can create more than one site here. You can create several sites. If you have different things that you're really interested in, you can go, this is my fishing site, or this is my sewing site, or whatever projects you've got going, or however you want to divide things. But we're creating a story site here. So if you did this step today, even if you just created a blank page with a title, you have started, and that's what matters. Many people stay stuck because the first step has to be impressive. It does not. The first step just has to be clear. So create your blank Google site, give it a name, and remind yourself this is not about becoming a web designer. This is about creating a simple home for stories that deserve to be remembered. In the next video, we'll give you a simple structure so that your welcome messages, stories, photos, and videos each have a place to go.